You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So goes the Western phrase, meaning that for some people, they're simply resistant to change and taking on fresh opportunities. Well, not BDO Unibank. They're certainly a big dog. They're the biggest bank in the Philippines. And a relatively old dog. I should know, I'm the same age as they are. But here at the Intelligent Finance Summit, organised by Huawei in Shanghai, when I spoke to BDO's head of infrastructure and operations, Paul C., he said they definitely learned new tricks. In this era of digital transformation, it's had to. For this edition of Transform Talks, Huawei's Thought Leadership Interview series, I asked Paul what BDO's challenges had been and how they'd adapted.
It was very difficult in the beginning when we started during the pandemic. We did not really have any tools in terms of being able to provide digital services, in terms of, let's say, working from home, or even providing our staff the necessary capabilities so that they can work remotely. We changed all that very quickly during the pandemic. We were able to deploy tools that will allow our people and our systems to be accessed remotely. We beefed up our digital banking capabilities so that our clients, if they choose to transact with us either digitally or in the branch, can do that. So it was challenging. So one of the things that we did was we moved to a new data center. We built a new data center infrastructure. We allowed data to be replicated from one data center to another, which was, as you know, as a bank, it's very important that your data is preserved, whether it's running on data center A or data center B. And you could easily switch between those two areas once your application either goes down or you want to switch quickly to another data center. The other thing that we did was really beef up our digital banking capabilities. One of the things that we saw during the pandemic was a large, frankly, the spike in the volume of users using mobile banking probably went from the normal to about 2 to 3 times that in a span of weeks.
Through necessity.
Through necessity, yeah. Because of the pandemic, there was a lockdowns. I think most cities, most countries experienced that. And the only way that you can transact and do transactions was digitally.
So what productivity gains has all this enabled you to have as a bank and for your customers and consumers?
Well, one of the things that we recently deployed with Huawei was the Wi-Fi. We put enterprise Wi-Fi in a lot of our locations. You can just imagine, all of our users used to be connected via a cable, right? Now they can work more freely with the Wi-Fi that we put up with Huawei's help. The other thing that we've done was going back to that data center scenario where we replicate databases from one data center to another without any lag. And that has really helped us. A third project that we're working on now is moving our backups from the old traditional tape into storage media, which will allow us to really manage a lot of the risk and also the ability to quickly back up and restore a lot of the data that we might need.
It's interesting, you've obviously really adapted to these changes and embraced them, and as a result, given a better service. Are you surprised that not all banks, or legacy banks, established banks, have been quite so agile?
Well, one of the things that I've always sort of prophesized, or at least shared with my team, was a change in culture, right? Frankly, the 4 years that I've been there, the first 2 years was really focusing on changing the culture of the team, changing the way the team thinks. And it's really breaking down the ability to accept change. Change is key, especially now. I mean, just look at what's happening in the technology world with the implementation of AI. The speed at which technology is changing is just amazing, right? And if you, as an organization, is not culturally adapted to change, you're going to have a very difficult time adapting to the changes in technology and to the changes in the world.
There's a kind of adapt or die, isn't there, as
Exactly.
a business? And what will AI do you think? You mentioned AI, that's clearly going to bring even more changes.
Right.
What would you look to Huawei to do to assist you on the impact of that?
One of the key things that we're looking to partner with Huawei on is it's really putting more AI into the storage, into the networks that we purchase from Huawei. Maybe looking at more adaptive capabilities in terms of looking at where the faults could be, where the problems might lie, or predictive analysis in terms of if there are issues that will happen in the near future, it would alert you. In addition, we're looking at other ways that we can use AI. We're trying to build chatbots now that are very much conversational. You might think that you're talking to a person when it actually is an AI bot behind it, and it holds a lot of promise.